Hello, and welcome to a guided meditation and breathing exercise session brought to you by Hawthorn Holistic Health. My name is Dr. Anthony Pascucci. None of what we go over or discuss or cover tonight should supersede any medical advice. As always, for any medical concerns or questions, please consult your physician. Okay, for tonight's meditation, which will be focused on perspective, we'll begin as always by finding our posture, finding a place where you're going to be comfortable being largely still for the next 20 or so minutes, somewhere where you're able to comfortably breathe and sit and support yourself. You could be lying down, you could be seated in a chair. If you are using a chair, please make sure that you're sitting on your sits bones on the bottom of the chair, but really your back is supported. It's not sitting back into the chair. We have a nice curve to our lower spine, and we're thinking of creating length in the spine, creating as much length as possible. It's very helpful to picture a string attached right to the crown of the head, lifting you up from the crown, but noting that we're not going to lift our chin. We're not raising our forehead. No, our chin's going to remain neutral. Our eyes are still on the horizon, but we think of a string lifting straight up so that we're creating length. The ears are above the shoulders. You can think of the crown of your head as being above your tailbone, keeping alignment. And that little dimple in your chin, that should be directly over your pubic bone. These are actually both midline structures that should be in alignment with each other. Good. Ears above the shoulders. And think of creating length between the ears and the shoulders, meaning a lot of us throughout the day, we might curl our shoulders in and forward. Think about relaxing them back underneath the ears, creating length, and rounding out the shoulders nice and open so that the chest is open and can receive our breath. You can close your eyes now or pick a spot directly in front of you where the horizon would be. You don't want to be looking up or down because this affects our whole posture. Good posture will largely follow our gaze. We should try to gaze at the horizon as much as possible. So you can close your eyes or pick a spot along the horizon, the back of the room, but gently gaze upon it. So that begins to fade as we begin to breathe in through the nose and hold. And we're going to breathe out through the mouth. Notice I used pursed lips to help me direct the exhale. In through the nose, holding. That pause is very powerful, shifts us into parasympathetic rest and digest mode. Good, out through the mouth. With the pursed lips, I'm able to control the breath. We want to control it. We want to make it nice and steady and long. And in through the nose. Starting to slow your breaths down a little bit, holding for a little bit longer, and out through the mouth. Holding again, and continue to breathe in this manner on your own, in through the nose. Holding, and then out through the mouth. Continue to breathe in this way. You can follow your own rhythm, but try to slow it down a little bit, lengthening the pauses each time, controlling the exhale. You can use the 4 square breathing method, in which you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale out the mouth for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and continue. Or you can use one of my favorites is 5-7-8 breathing, where we breathe in through the nose for 5 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, so a little longer, and exhaling out the mouth for 8 seconds. Good. Any of those methods, continue to breathe, continue in through your nose. Now, as you inhale through the nose, think of, we want to continue to breathe until we're down below the diaphragm into our belly. So on your breath in, you're going to relax the abdominal muscles, relax the belly, and let it fill with air. Good. Holding. Your abdominal muscles are relaxed right now. You're allowing the belly to fill with air. You're relaxing your pelvic floor muscles as well. And as you breathe out through the mouth, you're going to start to contract, but you don't have to tighten your muscles. You don't have to contract the abdominal muscles per se. Just allow it to naturally contract and sink in on itself as you breathe out with intention and force. Good. To help us do this belly breathing, you can put one hand over your heart, one hand on your belly, so that you can feel the belly rise and expand as you breathe in. Good. Holding. And when you breathe out, the hand on your belly should feel the belly start to give in and sink on itself, contracting, but you're not forcing contraction. You can also start to pull in the pelvic floor muscles at this point, essentially working a Kegel into our breathing exercises, into our belly breathing. Good. So continue to breathe at your own rate. You can use the 4 square breathing. You can use the 5-7-8 breathing, whatever you want to do. Or I'm going to introduce another option in a moment that you can do, but continue to breathe. Continue to inhale through the nose, into the belly, and breathe out through the mouth, contracting the belly. You can do a Kegel if you want as well. For another option for breathing, this is my favorite. We're going to do a couple of deep breaths. I'm going to demonstrate at first. So just observe. I'm going to breathe in through the nose as much as I think I can, and then I'm going to pause for just a moment or two, and then I'm going to breathe in a little extra more. So pause, breathing in just a little bit more, above what we thought our initial capacity was, a little bit extra. And then you guessed it, for our exhales, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to exhale as much as I think I can. I'm going to pause for a moment or two, and then exhale a little bit more. So a little extra force on that last one. We're trying to reach our topmost capacity on the breath in and let out as much as we can on the breath out. These are really cleansing and relaxing. But with any of these breathing exercises, if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel dizzy or lightheaded, just return to your natural breathing. Let's try a couple of those if you want to. Breathing in through the nose as much as you think you can. Good. And then hold for just a moment or two, and then a little bit more. Good. Hold. And then out. Changing our perception of how much breath we thought we can breathe in and out. Okay, continue breathing, whichever method you prefer. You can do those exercises that we just did. You can do the 4x4 breathing. You can do the 5-7-8 breathing, or you can just breathe for what's comfortable for you. Explore your own rhythms. Try to slow it down. Try to elongate the pauses. Play with it. In the meantime, continue to breathe with your eyes closed or gently gazing at the horizon. We're going to start to talk about perspective, this week's theme, how often if we just change our perspective, even when we can't necessarily change the situation, if we can change the way we perceive the situation, often that can do a lot for the amount that the situation causes us stress. If we can flip our perspective on it and see it in a different way, often we can let go of our resistance to the situation and start to go with it and take steps towards a different outcome. Continue to relax, continue to breathe, turning your attention deeper and deeper within, becoming more aware of your body until you start to visualize seated in front of you is a mirror image of you. You're viewing a mirror perspective of yourself, sitting here, sitting with your breath. Visualize yourself right in front of yourself, a mirror image. It doesn't have to be a perfect visualization, just that your intention and the idea of it is what matters. Imagine yourself taking a step back, looking at yourself, picturing your posture, picturing your facial expression, the color of your clothes, the style of your clothes. Start to render a deeper and richer picture. Keep looking at yourself as you rest there, but now imagine the you that's observing yourself, that's looking at yourself, that you that's sitting here visualizing your other self, that's breathing, that you starts to rise up. We're going to start to take a bird's eye view, change our perspective, zoom out, start to rise up more and more, viewing yourself still seated below. You continue to rise, rising up, floating up above. The ceiling, the roof disappears so that you're able to keep rising and rising further and farther up, still able to see yourself sitting there, still continuing to breathe. This is a good time to check in with your posture. Are you still elongated? Are you still creating length between your ears and shoulders? Are you still continuing to breathe deep into your belly? In through the nose, holding, out through the mouth. As you zoom out and out and out, seeing yourself from further and further and further above as we continue to change our perspective. We rise upwards, continuously floating serenely upwards. All the while, your gaze keeps returning to your own body, now seated below you as you rise above it. Keep looking down towards your body as you float higher and higher. And continue to gaze down as you see yourself seated comfortably below you in the building, looking content and contemplative. You see all the rooms of the building. You see all the other people around you. Continuing to breathe in through the nose, holding, out through the mouth. You continue to float gently higher and higher. Your perspective widens more and more until you see the whole surrounding area. You see all the buildings nearby from above. You see the people in the buildings and in the streets and in the roads. You observe people far below working or walking along the pavement. People driving in their cars, riding bicycles, taking the buses, riding on the trains. You begin to contemplate the whole network of human lives and how people everywhere are interacting with each other, influencing each other, encountering each other in different ways. Floating higher, people become as small as ants below you. Rising up into the clouds, you see the whole of the surrounding region beneath you. You see towns, you see countrysides. You gradually begin to perceive and see the whole coastline, the whole southern coast of Connecticut, the Long Island Sound. The coastline comes into view as your perspective becomes more and more expansive. You float gently up above the clouds, above the weather, as though the upper atmosphere of the planet Earth is now below you, so high that you eventually rise beyond the sphere of the planet itself. You look towards our planet Earth as you see it suspended in space below you, silently turning, resplendent in all its majesty and beauty. Continuing to breathe in through the nose, holding, out through the mouth. Good. Continue to breathe. Checking in with your posture, checking in with your belly breathing, making sure you're not collapsing down on yourself, that you continue to support yourself. Opening up, creating space, lengthening, creating as much length as possible. Continuing to float above the planet, looking down below. We see the whole planet, the blue of the great oceans, the brown and green of the continental land masses. You see the white of the polarized caps, both north and south. You see the gray wisps of cloud that pass silently across the surface of the earth. You can no longer see yourself from so far above, but you know and you feel that you are down there on the earth below, that your life is important, and what you make of your life is important. Your change in perspective just now, that change in perspective, your view that you've taken, the view of things, your values, your priorities, your scheme amongst all other people, all interacting together like marching ants so far below you. You feel connected to it, to the web of life, the web of interactions with other people. Connected much the way we see ants when we look above, or in the way we know mushrooms are connected below by the mycelium, the way that plants connect below the earth with networks of branching roots. You are so far above that as you see the world turn, you see all species, all animals, all plants, all ecosystems. From this far above, you can see how they're all working together in really a cosmic symphony of moments happening all together. You see as the planet turns, you grasp the enormity of the past that has occurred before you, all the civilizations, all the changes in our cities, our towns, our lands, the deserts and oceans as they ebb and flow throughout the tides of time, and the great future laid out before us, knowing that there are civilizations yet to come. But we're one with this one present moment, the now, the all, seeing how we connect to it all, and being grateful for the ability to change our perspective. Because when we zoom out and see things from above, we can change the way we're perceiving them and sense the cosmic harmony taking place around us, and start to realize that sometimes events, we can't quite change them, we can't quite change the situation, but if we can find a way to change our perspective of how we perceive them, of how we're experiencing them, of what they're doing to us, how we're meeting the moment in exchange. Become that cosmic observer, again, stepping out of ourselves for a moment, changing our perspective. It might reduce the stress that situation is causing us. Even if it's for a brief couple moments of relaxation, to shift the frame, the filter through which we see life, even if that's only for a couple minutes a day. The more we come here and become in tune with our breath, in tune with our posture, and shift into that parasympathetic rest and digest mode, out of that sympathetic fight or flight mode, the more it will become instinctual and hardwired in, the more it will become a default. And the easier and quicker we'll be able to come here in those moments when we need them, and we'll be able to shift our perspective. You start to zoom back down into your body, continuing to breathe in through the nose, holding out through the mouth, zooming in and in, down and down, starting to see the buildings again, starting to see our building, zooming down and in with each breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, zooming more and more back into our body. We're coming back down into our building, into our room, into our body. You can start to increase awareness of your body, wiggling out any of your fingers or toes, rolling your shoulders or your neck. Starting to bring increased awareness back to our body until you're ready to open your eyes, continuing to breathe. But if you're opening your eyes now, you must have a nice big smile. I think it's important to end every practice with a nice big smile. Continue to breathe. Returning to your natural rate and rhythm. Good, great. Thank you so much for joining. As always, my name is Dr. Anthony for Hawthorn Holistic Health. Thank you for joining. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. You can turn on post notifications to find out when a video like this is being posted. And if you like what you see, if this helps you, like our videos and share it with anyone else who you think might get something out of this. And if you're watching on Instagram, on our IG Live, thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Hawthorn Holistic Health or our Hawthorn Cleanse Buds pages on Instagram. And again, if you turn on post notifications, you'll be brought up to date on when we're going live with videos like this one. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.